welcome back. It's been a long hiatus to your favorite comic book TV host and political partay. You're joined by your main man, Matt and Sara, the femme fatale.
Woo, we're tired. Yay!
Yeah, we after our amazing episode of covering interviewing Ben Kahn and Rachel Silverstein and covering Renegade Rule, which is a great book. Please pick it up.
Do.
We have been through the funkiness of real life, which apparently hurts.
It hurts a lot, honestly.
It hurts a lot.
I'm glad that we're back together, though, Matt. It's been a minute.
Been a while, yeah. And we got some great news for you. We got the rumblings within DC's changing new management. We got Why the Last Man trailer. What the hell is an Ayer cut? Scarlett Johansson fighting Disney. We got to talk about the new show you should have seen at this point, Loki, and Suicide Squad, the movie. And we also be talking about Good Omens season 2, and somehow a show got canceled.
Yes, all that and more on this exciting episode of War of Infinite Panels.
That's the way to go. So we're going to start on top of the podcast talking about DC's brand new CEO. That guy is, I believe, I'm just going to confirm his name with a horrible pronunciation. Jason Kilar. Jason is Kilar, and I don't want to say Jason Killer.
Jason Kilar.
Jason Killer, yeah. So Jim Lee, who's now the chief creative officer, has recently praised Warner Media's new CEO choice, Jason Kilar. As we discussed prior episodes of War Infinite Panels, we check them out. DC is going through a move and shake period. Dan Didio's gone, praise be. And now they're finding new people to fill in the roles and everything. Jim Lee saying that Jason is a comic book guy. He's a fan. He's going to help us move along. He, alongside the new senior general manager and VP, Daniel Sherry III. They're thinking they're going to have a big change in DC. It's going to be positive, to be great. I'm hoping for the best because the last manager choice they had was just the worst. It set them back so much times. I mean, we really had a show that made Robin said, fuck Batman. That was one of the worst. I mean, that's just one bad decision. And we can go on about my rant about why everything before that was a bad idea too. But let's put it this way. It wasn't a good time if you were a DC fan, not even on like just a mainstream level. If you're not even like a hardcore person. The era of DC was just too edgy, too grungy, didn't connect to anybody. A lot of fans who grew up watching DC TV shows like Justice League Unlimited or Justice League or Batman the Animated Series, or even Teen Titans. Yeah, the original Teen Titans. Those fans I felt, just so pushed to the wayside that there was no content for them. And that was a real missed opportunity because there's so many young people and so many fans who grew up watching that type of content and they just threw them away. So, you know.
I mean, they decided, ultimately, I remember, Young Justice, when that got canceled, people were super upset, and DC's thing was like, well, it's just not doing well in toy sales. And it's like, but it has this massive fan base that if you made things for them, they would buy it en masse. And they're like, sounds fake, so we're not going to do that.
Pretty much. And that's just a horrible decision because, as we know nowadays, a lot of TV shows survive by this passionate fervor of their fans. I mean, a little tangent here. Steven Universe literally has, regardless how you feel about the fandom, really passionate fans.
Yep.
And those fandom really kept that show going through God knows what. So Rebecca Sugar, you tapped into something. Young Justice tapped into something, you just left them on the floor. So it is what it is.
And now look at DC now. They're on the struggle bus to get those fans back away from Marvel, who took one look at their screaming fan base and went, yeah, I can work with this.
Like, nope. We're not doing that. Speaking of not doing that, apparently Sara, you and I are psychics. We have attained telepathy.
Yes.
We discussed this in a previous episode about the release of Snyder Cut. Regardless if it existed or not, it's not a good precedent for movies to do because it creates a backdoor excuse and a way to insult fans and blah, blah, blah. It's just not good content. It's a way to get away with it, right? Yep. And Snyder Cut as itself, we have opinions about that, so just leave that alone. The thing about it is, like, now people are, because the director of the first movie, the first Suicide Squad, got a little uppity in his bridges, and now go and say, they released my version of the movie. It'll be okay. It's good stuff. It helps with the Snyderverse. Release the Ayer cut. I'm like, please don't do this. And the reason why I say this because it was treading. I saw it treading for like a couple of days. I thought it was a meme, but it's a real thing. And I'm like, please, I don't want this to happen. I really hate this thing or this idea people do. Because could you imagine if every director, because it was profitable for Snyder, could you imagine everyone else just doing it? I'd be so upset.
And I mean, like, listen, it's fine to have this sort of thing happen when, what happened with Snyder, where he had to step away and Joss Whedon had to step in and fix stuff, and finish reshoots and such. That kind of thing, like, I can at least understand why fans were interested in that kind of thing. And director's cuts are a thing, right? So you've got, like, for example, Blade Runner has the director's cut, Lord of the Rings has those really long ass director's cuts, but those are things that you put out later on the DVD. And like, you can have that, but like, it's basically like you are sort of left to have whatever it is that you want. You know what I mean? Like, you can say, oh, I like the theatrical version of Lord of the Rings. I mean, if you have bad taste, you do. But anyway, you know what I mean? Like, there's less of the narrative of like, oh, Ayer got cheated because DC blah, blah, blah. And therefore, like, we should see Ayer's cut because it's going to be so much better. Like, nobody's gonna argue, like, substantively that, like, a theatrical cut of Lord of the Rings and a director's cut of Lord of the Rings are so vastly different that, like, one is, like, substantively better than the other. Like, it's not gonna, like, elevate it, that much higher from, like, a C to an A or whatever, though Lord of the Rings obviously is an A. Please don't come for me. The Suicide Squad was bad. It was a bad movie. And, like, whether you got any mileage out of it or not, whether Ayers claims that DC mismanagement or interfering, ruined the film, it's like, you're still the director. You still had a voice in that editing room. You want to release your own director's cut, fine, but don't go acting like, well, I mean, it's gonna elevate it to this whole new level and it'll actually be good. It's not a good movie. I'm sorry that James Gunn did better than you. I'm sure he's already seen the movie, and this is why this narrative has started up, but, just take the L, my man. Just take the L.
No, and it's just exactly, and it's pointed like this is repelling for no reason. Anything like, as you pointed out, the Lord of the Rings director's cut, which I've only seen once, and and that is a job to do that, but it's really good stuff compared to the theatrical cut. The director's cut enhances the theatrical. It's not a whole different movie. It's supposed to be, if you're a fan of it, you won't mind sitting 4.5+ hours plus watching Frodo make yogurt. I guess people want that, but all seriousness, it's like that's the idea of a director's cut. It's like a longer extension. It's for the people who are the hardcore fans, not some kind of appeasement tool to convince people you had a good vision. I really hate that. And this idea is, I think, is gonna be a problem in the movie industry going forward. And because you can use the social media and pay marketing companies to help you get it's just a bad look. I'm not a fan of it at all. Sometimes, like, there's some movies I like to see, I would say director's cut or their version or true version of it. Like, I like to see Battle Angel Alita that was done by James Cameron. I like to see a theatrical. I like to see the director's cut that someday. That's because I already enjoyed the movie originally. I don't need to go on Twitter and say release this guy's cut because the studio ruined James Cameron's vision. No, James Cameron was a director. He had say in it. He had almost as much power as a producer or the studio would have. And at some places, you may know more of this. I'm assuming a director has almost as equal footing as a producer in movie situations.
It definitely depends. Like, obviously, there are always going to be mandates from the studio, but at the end of the day, it's like, you're the guy that's on the ground. You make certain choices. Like, at the end of the day, like, you work within the system, and basically, like, my problem is that it ultimately becomes an excuse for bad filmmaking. It's like, well, this isn't my final form. Like, this isn't what I really wanted to make. Like, I mean, yeah, listen, motherfucker. Like, I'm sure that, like, people in the MCU also were like, if I had my way, we would have made X movie R-rated, and we would have had this, and that, and we would have included that character and the other character. But like, you work within the constraints of the system. This is just how Hollywood has always worked, whether or not you're doing a comic book movie or any kind of franchise movie like with Disney or Sony. These are the constraints that you work with. I don't hear anybody calling out for, like, I don't know, one of the X-Men, like, oh, give us the director's cut of X-Men Apocalypse, you know, because they're just like, it's a shit movie. There's nothing that you could produce out of like what got cut onto the cutting room floor that's gonna make this movie a better movie. That's not how movies work. Even the Snyderverse, and listen, I get that some people love the Snyder cut. They absolutely adore it. But like, does it add anything really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the
Exactly.
big picture sense to the whole DCEU.
No, it's just like a self-congratulatory whatever. It's one of the things that, like, this is a 4 hour Snyder Cut is a 4 hour movie that exists, and I feel like this is not Godfather 2 level. Like, it should be 4 hours.
Yeah. And like, you know, again, some directors, like, you know, your Kubricks, your Spielbergs, sometimes your George Lucases, have an incredible amount of say in a movie. But a lot of times, many directors, especially when they're first starting out, just don't. And like, you know, this is not to say that, like, could Ayer have made a bad movie, have made a decent movie that got turned into a bad movie? Yes. However, I would like to just remind everybody that a lot of what got cut from the Ayer, from like the original run of the movie, were scenes with Jared Leto's Joker. And I think we can all agree that in the cut that we got, there was already too much of that. So an Ayer cut would just have more of it, just an unfortunate amount more of that. And that automatically just makes it just unpalatable to me.
Oh god, yeah. No,
No
that's not
thanks.
happening today. No, thank you.
No thank you. I reject that reality. I'm throwing it away.
Pretty much. Well, there's one reality could be acceptable. So we're finally getting, after waiting for so long, Warner Media, it's just Warner Bros. Giving us Why the Last Man. We got a trailer. We did it.
We got a trailer finally. Yes, if you don't know the story behind Why the Last Man, it was a project that was announced in late 2018. Then it started production in 2019. Then 2 months into the production, its showrunners left because FX, which is where the show will be running, basically told them that, like, no, we don't like your take. And they're like, well, fuck you. This is the take we're going with. And FX was like, not with our money, you're not. And they walked away. And then they got in a new showrunner, Eliza Clark. And this will be her first major showrunning gig, so this will be interesting to see. And yeah, then today, as we are recording this, we got a trailer for the show on FX. It looks good, sticks to the same premise. Matt, what's the premise? Tell the people at home.
All right, so Why the Last Man takes place in a post-apocalyptic universe, written by one of my favorite writers in the industry. I mean, I have hits or misses with them, but I generally love Brian K. Vaughan's work, and Pia Guerrero's art is just brilliant. This is the book I think I recommended in the past before. Please check it out. So basically, Why the Last Man is about a man named Yorick Brown, and they survived a apocalyptic visit where he's the last man, and he's in a universe where women have made the society similar to Mad Max, and there's a lot of themes in this series from I guess I could say one may say about feminism, postmodernism, society, I guess people. It's a lot of it asks a lot of questions of, like, you know, some people may say, if we live in a world and we remove X amount of people, will evil still exist? Yeah, it would. Evil is a constant of humanity. So even if you believe your people's the best, you're gonna have some bad ones in your group. Maybe worse bad ones than the other groups. Who knows? But I would recommend. It's a beautiful series. There's intrigue, romance. God, there is so many things. There's a character. I can't spoil it.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Let the people. It looks like there's probably going to be plans for a second season. The video says like season 1, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that there will be more seasons of the show. So, let's just hold it in. But yeah, so basically we do know that we've got Diane Lane, we've got a couple of famous-ish names, like sort of B-listers, which is, hey, listen, ain't nothing wrong with a B-lister. But we
No.
do have Agent 355, we do have
Yep.
Yorick, we have Yorick's mom, we have Yorick's sister Hero, we have Beth, we do have Ampersand the monkey. Ampersand is there. I don't know
we did
why.
it. Yeah.
I was very excited. I was like, Ampersand, you're here. But yeah, it's interesting. The trailer basically shows everything falling apart and all the men dying, which I was like, oh hello. I mean, like, giving away sort of the twisty twist at the beginning, but all right. I mean, listen, live your dream, FX. Do what you want. They FX, if you don't remember, also did Legion, which was trippy as balls. But good. It was trippy but good. I liked it a lot. So hopefully we will see some more interesting risks in this show. It looks like they're going to be following pretty closely the comics, though maybe not entirely.
I hope they follow a little closely, but again, it isn't a situation like Preacher, where Preacher as a comic is just very, very dark and has a lot of dark humor and a lot of, I guess, a lot of violent type humor or things that people may not be comfortable seeing. That's why when I saw Preacher be moved to a FX, I was like, this should have been on HBO or a service type television, just because of how Garth Ennis is Garth Ennis. I'll leave it as that. So I'm just, like I said, I'm super excited about this. This is a series in the making. It's my opinion. It won several Eisner Awards. It's a comic I would recommend to people consistently to at least check out and look out, because it's a book that talks a lot of human conditions very, very well with proper nuance. Not like these people bad, like, no, it's not that. It's, oh, these people are bad because they believe in this. Why are they believing in this? Oh, that's scary. Yeah, that is scary. Speaking of scary things, well, at least scary for I guess we can move on. Scary to Disney. Scarlett Johansson is ready to go up in court and sue him.
Yes, ScarJo, our good friend, Scandal Machine ScarJo, basically has taken Disney to court because, and this is going to be an interesting issue to see how this moves forward, because this is actually a bigger issue. Basically, she argues, or her lawyer is arguing, that because Disney put Black Widow on streaming as well as in theaters, it cut into the revenue that she could make from the ticket sales, because actors do get paid more if their box office returns are good. There is no clause in her contract, nor, I'm guessing, in most Hollywood stars' contract for streaming, because, like, the theater system didn't work that way. Like, no one assumed that in the Panini, like, that was going to happen. So basically, Scarlett Johansson is arguing that it cut into her revenue, that it's unfair, because basically the decision to put it on streaming was solely for the benefit of Disney and Disney's board and executive producers and all that. And she will be taking a pay cut, even though the movie did well, right? Now, do I think she has a point? Yes. Do I think this is the time to argue it? No. Obviously nobody expected this to happen. Nobody planned for this to happen. Obviously nobody's contracts have this. You would hope that studios like Disney and Sony will, especially because Sony is putting out all its movies on HBO Max the same day, you hope that these companies will honor and at least give them like some portion of what they make off the streaming revenue. But at the end of the day, especially for Disney, because it charges premium subscription rates for specifically these movies. However, at the end of the day, it's like, nobody planned for this to happen. This was, do you really want to wait for like 2023 for your movie to come out, ScarJo? Like, we gotta do this. So it's gonna be an interesting fight.
Yeah, I personally, like, from a myself being slightly petty as a human being. I don't care if Scarlett Johansson wins or not. I just want to see the mouse. I just want to see Mickey Mouse and Disney suffer in some capacity. But I understand her position and why this is a big deal. I feel like, is this the right time to do so? I'm 50-50 on it, because this could be, as we discussed many times in this podcast, the death or the changing of the movie industry, where a streaming service is the way to go, because you pay for streaming service, you get access to things. There's already tons of movies being created for streaming services, so it works.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're gonna have to see, right? Like, yes, obviously, like, this is a brave new world. Actors are not gonna get as much because of the box, but at the same time, it's like, it's a pandemic. I mean, it's a Pagliatti.
It's
You
it's
know,
not it's not a good time to be outside
it's not a good
openly.
time. Yeah, it's like, listen, I get it, but like at the same time, you're still making a buttload of money. Um, and yes, I hope Disney will compensate her and other actors um fairly, given that they are doing it this way. I mean, obviously for their financial benefit, but also, for the social and health benefits of others. Um, so it's a complicated issue. I agree that like there should be something in their contracts, but there just wasn't time. Very few actors renewed their contracts in 2020. That's just a fact, and nobody knew how streaming was going to play out in terms of whether the streaming option was going to be more popular or the movie theater option was going to be more popular. I mean, frankly, and we've talked about this before, I think streaming should be an option. I'm not saying that like it has to be same day streaming, but for accessibility purposes, it would be really great if, like, after the initial 2 weeks of its release in theaters, it's on HBO, Disney Plus, Netflix, whatever, for like another couple of weeks, so that people who have difficulty, if they live in an area where there aren't movie theaters, if they live in an area where movie theater accessibility is just not a thing, right? Whether it be closed captioning or services for the blind, or wheelchair accessibility. Some theaters are just not wheelchair accessible. Um, that would make a huge difference, you know?
Yeah.
So, and we'll see. I mean, I've heard rumblings that other actors are now thinking about getting in on that train, of suing the companies that release their movies, if they release them on streaming. But well, I don't know. All I'm saying is you don't see Emily Blunt or Dwayne the Rock Johnson crying about Jungle Cruise being on Disney Plus.
Yeah, exactly. And it's again, I hate a lot of detractors who are talking about this leading towards the sexism, which is not good. That's not a good look. It's just not a great way to argue. Whatever at best you can argue opportunistic, or you can. I look at this as a way of people who that there's a new way how we're going to structure revenue, because streaming is a popular service people use, and how actors or people who participate in this get a cut of this or getting paid is going to be tricky to go through. I really don't know how to approach it, or how to, even if I was a person, to monetize it. It's different. It's very different from a TV show or an animated show on a streaming show to gain royalties and paid forever. How does that work compared to movies? Movies has always been a very direct way. Like, hey,
Right.
if the movie does well, ticket sales are up, the theater gets the money, you get the money. While if I make a cartoon show for TV, there's no theater of giant TV. It's just that I paid for the TV time. The TV does well, the ratings get me money. I own the station gets me money. I put
Right.
it on my streaming service gets me money. It's like that model works there. How are we going to translate movies to that? That's a whole 5-hour philosophical argument.
Yeah.
Um, I personally think that Scarlett Joe arguing for this, even though I understand, I see her points to it, I don't see her or her team providing a monetary way to do it. If you get what I'm saying, like it's one of the things. Random tangent here. Why I don't like a lot of conservative or libertarian people, because they always bring in questions like Scarlett Joe does, but no solutions. I understand the problem, but you don't have a solution. It means you didn't think this out. You're just trying to stab me. You're just trying to hurt me. That's the way I feel about it. It's like, this is a great problem to talk about. Do you have a solution for this? No. It's gonna be complicated, isn't it? That's the way I feel about that. But I hope for her the best. I really believe that I think Disney will find a way to give her perhaps a different type of royalty to get it through, because obviously, regardless of how we feel about this, because the success of the first stage, stage one, the Avengers movie, people are still probably going to rewatch the Avengers. They're probably going to rewatch,
Right.
actually rewatch Avengers. Going to rewatch Scarlet Joe's flossy booty and Black Widow that's going to be replayed on TV, blah, blah, blah. She's going to get a check from it.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how this all pans out. It is interesting. It is an interesting case. I'm interested to see how this all works out. But, regardless, it is, I just, I get it. But also I'm like, is this the right time? Is this the right time?
Right. Is this the right time? And you have a solution or a pathway to go? So it's because if you don't have either or, this can get really bad. Because what if Disney's like, nope. What do you mean nope? Well, nope, and just that's
it. Well,
it.
if Disney wins, then basically ScarJo is fucked, and she's gonna have a hard time getting studio gigs. But I mean,
basically,
that's her prerogative. I mean, listen, she wanted to do this. She took the chance. Nobody's, as far as I know, as far as all of us know, no one's forcing her to do this. This is the hill she is willing to die on, and this is, to be fair, in terms of major female stars, it's her and maybe 5 other people who could, maybe Meryl Streep could make this argument. I don't think Meryl Streep would make this argument, but I'm just saying if there's a big enough female name in Hollywood, it would be Meryl.
The funny thing is, if Meryl Streep made this argument,
she'd win.
I would unironically be more behind her just because of her legacy and the position she's coming from. Because this isn't her, at least if she would do it, this wouldn't be something out of monetary. This would be something out of respect because she's Meryl goddamn Streep.
Yeah, I'd just be like, listen, you can't be mad at Meryl. Meryl knows what's up. You gotta just give Meryl her due.
Yeah. So. And speaking of due, I gotta give due to everyone's favorite variants of Tom Hiddleston. God, I love that man. If you guys know, we talk about Loki, phenomenal show. My request didn't happen. He did not read Shakespeare in a tub or at least in a bathroom for 10 minutes. I was disappointed. Not even a variant of it.
But he did wear a collar and get on his knees while a woman beat the crap out of him. So listen.
Yeah. It works. It works.
It all worked out. It's fine. Loki was great. It looks, and we did get the confirmation that there will be a Loki season 2, which yes. And we did see Jonathan Masters as an unnamed King the Conqueror, but he literally said in some worlds I'm a conqueror. I'm like, yes, we know, King. Yeah, we got you, buddy.
We got you. Honestly, that show was well done. I recommend people watch it. It's interesting. It's just interesting and beautiful of how it's done. What is the greatest good? My revenge or seeing the bigger picture? There's tons of elements of that. Unironically, it was very beautiful to see Owen Wilson back in some capacity. I thought he just, after his emotional issues he had, with depression, I thought he was out of the game. I see him. It's it's good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, bud.
Got it.
Yep.
Still got
him. It. He was great. Sophie DiMartino as Sylvie, the Loki variant, was great.
Yep.
Then you've got Gugu Mbatha-Raw as Ramona Renslayer, who surprised everyone by not ending up with Kang, because in the comics they're a thing together, but she's off to fuck off somewhere. Good for her. So we will be seeing, the only thing is that Mobius never gets that jet ski, and my heart is where's the jet ski?
Yeah.
# release the jet ski cut.
Yeah, exactly. Where's the jet ski cut? That's something worth seeing it. I mean, well, Marvel did listen to the meme where it says release the Zemo cut of dancing. They did it within an hour.
They did it, I think we gotta start the release the speedboat cut. The jet ski cut, excuse me, not speedboat.
Jet ski cut. Just Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson, his mustache smiling, I got a jet ski. I can see the tears in his eyes.
I just wanted to go, wow, I got a jet ski. Yes. Hit it, Owen. Go your dream.
Get your dream. But I would say
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say Loki compared to the other Marvel shows, it's if I had to make a tier list, it would be WandaVision, Loki, because Loki is a finish yet. WandaVision, Loki, then Captain America. It's
Falcon the Winter Soldier.
Falcon Winter Soldier,
yeah. I will say, and just as a reminder, because I just thought of this now, because we don't think of it as this, but the next Disney Plus show is either coming out or is out already. I'm not 100%. It's Marvel's What If. Basically, sort of directly out of the end of Loki, where we're multiversing it up. The first episode is Captain Carter, which can I just say, is a stupid name. Captain, like your name, like your real identity is in your name. Shouldn't you have been like Captain Cambridge or like Lady England or some I don't know, something, but like I was like, this is her name is Captain Carter. That's her superhero name. Like, I mean, I get it. It works for Doctor Strange because like his name is weird.
Right.
But I don't know. I was like, the fuck? But anyway, yeah, so that's coming out. We're gonna see a bunch of stuff. We're gonna see T'Challa, Star-Lord, and Captain Carter, Captain America. And actually, if you look at the clip, Captain Carter, Captain America, and Steve Rogers, Iron Man.
Yeah. The interesting part about that is, and if you a little, I guess Marvel trivia, and I guess Peter David helped created it. There's this universe in the Marvel called 2099. In 2099, Captain America is a woman. In a future past that, Captain America is Luke Cage's and Jessica Jones's daughter.
Oh.
Black woman. Yep, that happens. It's a timeline. So,
Fun.
but they each of them still call themselves Captain America. That's just kind of the weird part. I thought they would just call it Captain America and you just see Carter, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, she's not American, she's British, so.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Captain England or Captain Britain. That's a thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, like Britain bash. I don't know. Listen, I'm just like Captain Carter. Like, I get it. I love Peggy. I love it. She's great. I loved Agent Carter, the show. But like, your superhero name. Listen, this is a dumb argument. People listening and are like, "This girl is stupid." I'm like, I am. I understand.
No.
I do.
Think of it this way. It's like, isn't it better to attach legacy to the person, just add a random name to it? It just doesn't feel wholesome, you know. It doesn't feel like you're that. But anyway, yeah, Captain Carter. No. It looks good in a poster, but saying it
is dumb. But whatever. Steve Rogers Iron Man is pretty fun.
Yeah,
gotta love him. He's small. He fit in robot. I love him.
He get jacked.
Yes, and we also got our first look at the Hawkeye TV show. Just like one image. I wish we got like a trailer, but we do know that it's gonna be Haley Steinfeld, I believe. Jeremy Renner's coming, and then Florence Pugh in her role as Yelena Belova from Black Widow is coming to do the murder on Hawkeye. And so she'll be in it. That's gonna be just a hoot and a hey. And it's coming out this November, y'all. Woo!
So I guess that means they're going with Kate the Hawkeye. That's the one.
Yes, they're doing. So basically, the plot of the show is that Jeremy Renner is done. I don't think he wants to be Hawkeye anymore. So he's gonna train Kate Bishop, and she will be Hawkeye. But in the meantime, at the end of Black Widow, the movie, if anybody saw it, which I'm sure you did, I did. And I'm happily paid those $30 to not go to a theater. She has been instructed by Contessa Valentina, that Hawkeye is the one who killed her sister, which, like, I guess technically is kind of true, but, like, definitely, like, took a lot of trying not to, he didn't want to do it. And so she's like, you need to go kill him. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to do that. So that's basically going to be her role in the show. Exciting. I don't know what this means for Ms. Marvel or Moon Knight or She-Hulk.
Oh, oh god, but yeah, I want. In my mind, I would think it would be a cool idea to use the younger heroes put together, make the young Avengers or the champions in some capacity. But do more. I usually have faith in Marvel plans and putting the characters over and doing the right thing. So yeah. So yeah, if everyone has a chance, as we've been gushing about it, just watch Loki forever. But if those episodes come out soon.
Yes.
I love the idea of Marvel What If because I have some stories or comics from Marvel's What If back in the day where it's like there's one where it's a What If with the Daredevil where if Elektra didn't die, what would happen? They run off and live together. That happens. There's a What If the Fantastic Four never got their powers and they still be heroes. They'd just be normal dudes fighting against the cosmos and weird things, you know? There's a couple of interesting What If stories out there. So there's tons of playroom that Marvel can have with this wheelhouse, and I hope they bring not just once, but bring it back occasionally for like random storytelling. You know?
No, I agree. I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, it also gives them like a fun platform to test out weird ideas and see if anything sticks. And if it doesn't, then at least it was just fun to give their creators a chance to do weird shit.
Yeah. Speaking of weird shit, uh, so Good Omens got a second season, but
I like
then
this is a segue. But speaking
yeah,
of weird shit,
yeah, speaking of weird shit, yeah, Good Omens got a second season, but Lovecraft Country is canceled. Like what?
yes, yes. All right, I will. Okay, I have feelings about the. I surprise. I have feelings about it. So basically, the news is Good Omen season 2 is getting a second season, and some people are like, "What do you mean it's getting a second season? The first season covered literally the entire book, and there's nothing else." And Neil Gaiman is who half wrote the book. He wrote the other book with Sir Terry Pratchett, who is no longer with us, R.I.P. Basically said that he and Terry had talked about a sequel to Good Omens 2. I mean, it's a sequel to Good Omens, and what that might entail. And also, again, he is half of the IP owner, so I guess it makes sense for him to, if he wanted to do a season 2, to go forward with a season 2. And we've had other intellectual properties that didn't have sequels or second seasons or basically any continued material that did go on to get other seasons, reinterpretations, whatever. It is what it is. Meanwhile, Lovecraft Country, whose HBO show basically took the book, ripped it in half, said, okay, the first half we're going to copy, and the second half we're going to use as toilet paper. Did not get renewed for a second season, which would have actually been vastly different than the first season, because it would have followed, if I'm remembering this correctly, because I did actually cover this news, it would have followed a new family, new people, same sort of idea, the like creepy horrific monsters, but it would have been more about like the Klan and overt racism in the South. Um, I mean, not that the first one wasn't about racism, but I think it was going to take place in the past or in an alternate future. Yeah, it was going to take place in an alternate future. That's what it was. It was like almost like an alternate world where the Civil War outcome was slightly different, which I can dig it. It would not have been, in my opinion, a Lovecraft Country. It's almost like, why give it that name when it has nothing to do with the original book? But like, I digress. That's basically what ended up happening. I've stunned Matt into silence.
I don't know how to feel about it. It's like, so we're gonna cancel a book that I'm sorry, we're gonna cancel a book. We're gonna cancel a show that's talks about racism on a private platform. Oh god, I actually would have watched to see that to see what in a very eldritch horror type show. What is the Klan doing around?
True. It is interesting to think about that kind of thing. For me, I really love Lovecraft Country, the book, and I think it made its points very well. And I think the TV show took certain things in directions that I was like, there's no point to that. Like, I understand why you've made this point, but other points, like for example, they brought in a Korean character because the main character Tick is a veteran of the Korean War, and she's a gumiho, which basically is like a nine-tailed fox. And she sees the future, and I'm like, but why? Like, you're diluting the point. Also, they made the main antagonist a woman instead of a white man, which is like, listen, I don't get why. Like, you're diluting the message. Like, the whole point was that he is like a white man and like a figurehead for like the white male patriarchy, and okay, I'm not gonna have feelings about this on the podcast because it's gonna take me too damn long. But needless to say, it is weird that they were going to go with a concept that didn't have very much to do with the original concept of the book for a second season. I kind of hope that the team gets to then take it to a different service. This was on HBO. They take it to a different service under a different name, because they totally could, and sell that premise, and hopefully it'll get picked up. But I just didn't think it would be right for like a Lovecraft Country adaptation.
I mean, will Netflix take them? Netflix takes anybody.
Netflix takes everything, man. Like, Netflix is like, give me you're tired, you're poor, unless it's made of people of color, in which case I don't want it. Cough, cough, one day at a time.
I think, yeah, I mean, Netflix did save one of my favorite comic book series and TV shows, Lucifer, so it could save Lucifer, it could save you.
It can save just about anything. We'll have to see. It might be too edgy for Netflix, but we're gonna see how this works out. So, in the end, one book that doesn't exist gets the yay, and one book that doesn't exist gets the nay.
Oof. But though, seriously, how Good Omen
Listen,
second.
Good Omens is great. Listen, I will forgive Good Omens 2 any number of sins if it does just one thing for me, Matt. I just want one thing. Do you know what that one thing is?
What would that be?
I want the angel and the demon to kiss, goddammit! There is so much sexual tension there. Just fucking do it. Don't be cowards. Just give us what we want. All the fan art
All
for
right.
this show is shipping fan art. So just do
we
it.
want the kissing? Do you want the kissing with cheesy music, or the kissing with extreme raining? Which what we're
Extreme. No,
going
yeah,
for?
we're going for extreme raining, honestly. I mean, but I'll take whatever. Listen, we are starved for content out here, and I mean, like, I'm not gonna shit on Neil Gaiman, mostly because I don't have to, but he's not opposed, obviously, to LGBTQ people in any way, shape, or form, so there's no reason that he wouldn't put this into the thing other than, like, Amazon being like, I don't know, we don't want to ostracize the straights, which if that happens, I would just like to say, get bent. But yeah, we'll see. That's what I want. I'll forgive it any multitude of sins if it just actually gives us on screen gay representation. Though I guess you can't. I mean, we don't really have genders, so I don't know if you can be gay without it. It doesn't matter. I just want to see David Tennant and Michael Sheen kiss because their characters have great chemistry, and it seems like a perfect opportunity to actually do some good representation in a community that clearly wants and sees it. I'm gonna get so many hate comments if this ever goes anywhere.
Oh God! On this picture, like, how dare you? Us straights have the right to not see the gay and banish thee. Banish thee.
Yeah, they want the Disney version of gay representation where a character says, "I'm gay," and that's it.
Yeah. God, that's a whole can of worms that we should avoid.
It's a worm factory. That's a worm factory.
Oh, geez, yeah, with queer baiting, the coding movies, it's like, Jesus, Disney, you are really, like, pushing that pencil point. But anyway.
Yep, pushing the pencil of progress 2 millimeters at a time.
God, yeah. It's like, oh boy.
I breathed on it. Can you tell? Like, yeah, I can.
Speaking of things we could tell about, I guess it's a time for us to talk about what we can tell you is the books we should recommend to you.
Yes.
So I'm gonna recommend, if you guys haven't already, this book, the series won best web online series, I believe, for the Harveys last year. I believe it is Lore Olympus by Rachel Smith. I am horrible with names. Oh God, I have to check. But anyway, the point of the matter is, you can now pre-order her volume 1 and 2 on Amazon, Barnes Nobles, whatever. And the first volume comes out, I believe, in October. Now, I think that's some cool stuff. Now, if you want to pre-order the book, it comes in hardcover and paperback, so that's good stuff. Yeah. I was right. It is right. It's Smith with an E. I don't pronounce the E. That's great. So I feel smart. All right. So she's phenomenal. I think Lore Olympus is one of the best web comics out there. The reason why I say buy the print, because there's going to be a point that it may not be available on the internet. I think that we should support creators who makes web comics and print them to physical formats, because it helps them have a career outside of web comics in the future. Because let's just say the Webtoons platform just goes away and she can't use it anymore. There's just obviously she'll have her following, but the platform is a platform. I mean, without a platform, people don't have much. So if she is successful selling this book and then continues a series, there's a bunch of other series she'll be able to write and print out, and then we can support it. And again, you can get this book, pre-order the first volume that comes out in October 2021. hardcover or softcover, and you also can pre-order the second volume, which is pretty cray-cray, honestly.
Yes.
She has both ready. She's like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get paid. The second one comes out in February next year, February 2022, which also can be pre-ordered in hardcover and softcover. So whatever
Fair
version you want, I recommend it. I personally think she's a mad woman because she's. I don't believe the series is completed. Yes, she has got the first two volumes out, baby. Let's go. Like
Yeah.
I would love for her to do this. Like, all right, so I have volume 3 to 6 out already. So whenever I finish a comic, just buy it.
I will say this, from what I remember, so I also am a fan of Lore Olympus, so I'm not recommending it at this time. I mean, I do generally recommend it. From what I remember, this, I think at least volume 1 existed before the color version that exists on webtoons. So volume 1 was actually
Ah,
done for a long time, so probably she's probably well into volume 3 now, and she just, like, needed the hiatus to be like, I need a break because I have a lot of shit going down. But yeah, I would imagine that, like, yeah, volume 2's been done for a hot minute. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Um,
yes.
I mean, yeah, I mean, Lore Olympus is great. I mean, I feel like if you lived on the internet for even like 5 minutes, um, you know,
You would know.
you've
You
heard
would,
of it. Like, you at least know what the style is.
yeah. And like I said, I'm excited that it exists. I'm excited that she's able to do this, and I think it's a great way to support her. Because again, you know, webtoons are comics. Comics can be printed on paper. We read comics. Straightforward stuff, right? No
Yeah.
complication right there, right? Yeah.
No, no. It's
All
pretty
right.
simple. All right, so my recommendation for this month is one that all my friends have been talking about. It's called The Magic Fish. It's by Trung Le Nguyen. I apologize if I mispronounced any part of that name. But basically, it is. I'm a sucker for good art. I think we've talked about this before, especially with like Laura Dean is breaking up with me. If the art is good, I will love a thing. Like, I will love a thing inordinately. And The Magic Fish has just this gorgeous, beautiful art style that makes me cry. I mean, the story itself is also super beautiful. It's about this young boy named Tien, who is a first generation Vietnamese American, who is trying to speak with his parents and tell his parents that he's gay, right? But like, it's hard because it's one of those things that, like, how do you explain to your parents, for whom, like, have no experience with gayness, how do you explain that to them? And it's told through these really beautiful, like, fairy tales that have their very distinct style, and it's just so wonderfully made. Just the art, even just like even just the cover is so beautiful, and frankly, like, it's one of those books that, like, you deserve to own. Like, I got it from the library because, like, I am cheap and poor. And I like to support my local library, but I actually went out and bought a copy of this book after I read it because it's just so beautiful and so amazingly written and drawn. Highest recommend. Definitely go out and read it. It is for LGBTQ people. This is a must read for you guys, but for everybody, and it's middle grade, so little kids, not little kids in your life, but your 12-year-olds, your 13-year-olds, they can read this no problem. Highly recommend. Just, again, just absolutely stunning in terms of just the craftsmanship that went into this story on all levels of its creation.
Sounds good. And if you're a crazy person, this will turn your kid gay because that's what books do. They turn everyone gay.
Yep.
Just like school,
The
the
water turns the
movies, the
frogs
music.
gay, and
Yeah,
please nobody believe that that's true. Like, that's, please don't.
it's
Yeah, I can imagine this is going to be a book that, like, conservatives are going to be like, I don't want it in my library, and it's like, why must you be like this? Just let us
like
have
it
the
had
art.
yeah. Plus two, it's similar to a tangent I feel about like even though we recently just joke about queer quoting and queer elements in Disney places, though I do feel it's not further pushing enough. it at least gives the positivity of someone being different, being accepted. And that's what kids need to learn, like being accepted for who they are, and maybe have questions about, hey, this thing you're feeling because you're young doesn't make you a weirdo or a freak. Might find boys attractive, or girls, or both. Or maybe you don't feel masculine nor feminine. Maybe you have a different way of expressing yourself. And that's important, you know?
Damn. Spot on, Matt. Spot on.
Yeah.
Yay.
Speaking of that, the frogs are turning gay, and they're going to overtake us all. You know, so.
Like Asp, our froggy overlords. They approach
Froggy
us.
overlords. But anyway, thanks. All right, thanks again for checking out Warp and Panels. We'll have a future. Hopefully, we'll have more episodes with no more bad downtime. Hopefully, yeah.
Yep.
Sweat. Be sure to share this podcast with your friends. Give us a follow on Spotify. Be sure to check out more of our future content on the Outerhaven.net. If you wish to follow me for my future content, I'm at Gacilius on Twitter. If you wish to follow Sarah, send her an email at please stop asking me stupid stuff.com.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, you can follow me at Sarah Romanen on Twitter. That's basically where you can shout things at me. That's the best place.
Yeah. I use that email because it seems to be working. Like, this is stupid stuff sent to me. Thanks.
Perfect.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for stopping by.
Bye-bye.